A and B.
Second.
Well, actually, B was removed, right? Oh, okay.
Second.
Cool. Miss Deputy Clerk.
For the record, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Vice Mayor Desume, and withdrawing tab B. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0. I'm sorry, for the record, I just wanted to state that Councilwoman Keys arrived at 7:09 p.m. For the record.
Which is more than an hour ago. We spent a long time on presentations tonight.
This was my opportunity.
What is it?
Tab C?
Yeah.
Okay, tab C, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to approve work order number 5, amending a professional design and construction management agreement between the city of North Miami and Hazen and Sawyer PC to update design documents prior to issuance of a request for bid, provide permitting and bidding assistance, construction, management services, and Florida State Revolving Fund SRF reporting assistance in support of the BP1 filter rehabilitation project with an estimated time for performance of 17 months at a cost not to exceed $470,000 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in the request for qualifications number 03-07-08, upgrades the current water treatment plant and the design and construction management of a new membrane water treatment facility, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Okay.
That's
Staff
tab C.
presentation.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. For the record, Alberto Estrade, Purchasing Department. What you have before you is a proposed amendment to a contract with the engineering firm of Hazen and Sawyer. The firm of Hazen and Sawyer was selected by the city council back in 2009 to provide engineering and construction administration services for the rehabilitation project for the city's Winson treatment plant. As you probably know, the treatment plant not only provides the city of North Miami with potable water, but also provides the surrounding communities, surrounding areas, such as the village of Biscayne Park. This proposed amendment would simply allow Hazen and Sawyer to proceed with updating the construction documents and provide the permitting that are necessary for us to be able to bid the following projects to rehabilitate the water treatment plant. The first one of these projects is the filter rehabilitation project. The next one will be the water plant improvement project itself. And lastly, the new ground storage tanks. And this is all part of a process and a project to rehabilitate this plant, which was originally built in 1964 and is much needed to be able to ensure the continuing compliance and safety of this plant throughout 2030.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move approval.
No, we have to get
Sorry.
public.
Withdraw a motion.
Anyone from the public wishes to be heard on this item, please come forward to the mic, and I see no one coming, so public hearing is closed on the item.
I'll move it.
Can I ask a question, Councilman? Sure. Mr. Director, this 470 is within the contract that they have, so this is just an amendment that you are asking permission for within, not new money coming. This is within the existing amount.
That's correct, Mr. Vice Mayor. And I'd like to add that really the biggest portion of this fee that's before you, this amendment, the biggest part of it is actually for during the construction administration period, which will take approximately about 12 months, about a year, and actually won't start until we actually award a construction contract. So that's really the single biggest part of this fee that you have before you, but that's all included and was all envisioned as part of the original contract that was issued to this engineering firm.
Okay, Mr. Manager, and we have this money and they've been getting, okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move approval of the item.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Galvin to move item C, seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes. 4-0 for now. I'll get Councilman Bienamay's vote later. 4-0. Okay, tab D. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, ratifying the city manager's emergency procurement and issuance of a purchase order in the amount of $74,750 to Westbrook Towing, Inc. for the removal of a partially submerged derelict vessel from public waters pursuant to section 823.11 Florida Statutes 2015 and section 7-144 of the North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab D.
Mayor and Council, at the prior meeting, I believe I gave a city manager's report where I reported that we had this derelict vessel in one of the San Souci canals. At that time, I reported that we were providing notification to the owner of the vessel. I think several contacts were made to ask for compliance to remove the vessel. They went unheeded, so we moved forward with procuring this. So I just bring this back for ratification. At the time, I think I quoted that we were going to spend approximately $80,000, and you see that we came in at $74,750. So the boat has been removed and is, I guess, currently at the remains are at a boat yard in the Miami River area.
Thank you. This item is open to the public at this time. Tab D is open to the public.
Robert Houston, 1150 Northeast 123rd Street. Thank you. Just a quick question. I would hope, the only question I have regarding the bill is that the owner and the property will be held responsible in the form of a lien against the property for future, in case of future sale or change of hands, so that the city can recover the amount of money that has been spent on this removal. And that's just a question I'm asking.
Through the mayor, yes, that is the procedure that we'll follow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. My name is Maurice Simonet, and we worked on that boat every day.
Address, please.
1977 Northeast 119th Road, where the boat was at in a private dock. It was not in the public. So, of course, the rules say that.
Now, we on tab D, right?
Yes, yes, that's what he's talking about.
Oh, you are the owner. Okay.
Excuse me? Oh, okay. So, you know, I was in contact with them every day, and we was at the boat every day, so it wasn't derelict or left. We was with the boat every day. We had professionals out there trying to help us get it up. We had a crane come out there. We had trucks and everything trying to come out there. It was stuck in the mud, but we put some balloons on it and finally got it up. When we finally got it up, of course, they came to take the boat, and we was never notified they were going to take the boat. They said they were going to fine us. And I understood that, and I know you're supposed to put a lien on the property and all of that, because I was told that by them. But then they came to take the boat within about 3 weeks. But, you know, of course, 823.11 Florida statute says you get 60 days. But, of course, we were cut short. And the reason why I was working so hard on the boat, because that boat was being used to finance an event that we're doing at Bayfront Park with Garth Brooks and the OJs and everybody else, about 90-something stars at the American Gala Award. Because I financed it last year when we did it, so we was going to do it this year. So now that has been stopped, and I'm trying to get it back. I asked them. I've been asking every day after it was taken up. When they took it up the first day, they said the first day after they got it out, because they couldn't get it out, we got it out for them, because the police officer told us, listen, If you get it out by Wednesday, you could take your boat. On Monday, we got it up. On Tuesday, we were going to take the boat out, and on Tuesday, it came to take the boat. We got all this on film. You can go to Maurice Facebook. Maurice Simonette Facebook, SYMONETT. I'm sorry, I'm hoarse right now, but on that site, you'll see that we actually got the boat up like they asked us to, and getting ready to take it, and they came and took it on Tuesday after we spent all of that money to get the boat up. It was okay. So what I'm asking here is, I've been asking for a week, and I know they're charging storage fees. Where's the boat? How much does it cost to get it? I've been asking the city manager here for every day since then. He told me he was going to give it to me the next day. He never gave it to me. So I know the price is going up and up and up, because I know the boat is worth about $200,000 in aluminum alone, and it appraises for $1.2 million. So, and it was a nice boat. Of course, it was sabotaged. That's what the Coast Guard told me. They cut the ropes, and somebody cut the wire on it deliberately and sunk the boat. And we was trying every day to get it up because we knew how important it was to this event, because this event is to rid homelessness among vets. And that's what we got the city of Miami mayor on camera saying on AmericanGala.com. If you go to that site, you'll see 96 stars saying they're coming to perform.
Mr. Simonet, I gave you way more than 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm not clear exactly what you are asking.
I want to know, where is the boat and how much does it cost? Because the same CTO told me it was going to charge $8,000 to get it up, but we already had a crane coming. Now it's up to $74,000. I don't know how I got there, but it's $74,000. And you know, I'm not a drug dealer, or a pimp, or a prostitute, so I don't know how in the world to get it. Right. But I'm going to get it because I have brothers who are going to help me, because we have a loan against that boat pending.
Is there?
So,
I mean, this is not something that can be resolved here, apparently. So I don't know if
he knows where they're at. He knows the address to where the boat
Mr. Manager, what say you at this point of time?
What say I is, I've spoken with Mr. Simmons, as he knows. I've informed him that he has to pay for this salvage regardless. That's why we're filing the lien. The salvage, I don't know the exact location of the remains of the vessel, but I know it's at a salvage yard on the Miami River. We'd have to contact the tow company, but per statute and the city attorney.
So we already got an invoice from the towing company.
We've already paid it.
Oh, we've already paid it.
Right. So that's why we need to get our money. So I've explained that to Mr. Simonet.
Mayor, council, as we said, this proceeding took place under state statute. We keep being told there was a 60-day notice requirement. There isn't a 60-day notice requirement. The 60-day notice requirement comes into place if the derelict boat was on private property.
Your mic is on, right?
Yeah, it's on. It's on. It's green. It's if it was on private property, and it's the private owner would have to give 60 days notice. This boat was removed by the police powers of the city. This is no different than if you had a derelict car in someone's neighborhood. The city goes in and takes the car. We can destroy the car. We can do whatever we'd like to do with it because it's the police power. We actually went a little bit further and gave the owner of the boat 10 days notice. He didn't comply. We then gave him another 3 days notice, which we weren't required to do at all. There's facts that will be given out tonight that we don't concur with. My understanding was the tow company took this boat out of the water on their own. No one assisted it. There's a bunch of facts here. We've been threatened with a lawsuit, so I don't care to discuss the facts with anyone. But that's where we are. We don't have to. It's a really simple response.
Okay.
If the owner has $75,000 to pay the city, when we asked for the $75,000 to be paid, then he could have got the boat. He didn't. So now the cities can have the boat destroyed. We can take whatever salvage we can get and offset it off the cost, but that's what's required at this point. $75,000. We're not required to wait a year for him to get anything. We don't have to do any of that stuff. So that's where we are with it.
Let me ask a question, Mr. City Manager. How many days when we find out that the boat was sank? Approximately how many days? So I know we gave him a 10-day notice. But how many days was this going on?
I'd have to check specifically with code, but it had been out there for several, at least 2 to 3 weeks at that point.
Okay.
when the
When-
city was
when the city
notified.
was-
This
Mr.
this
Seminette, do you know how many days?
Yes, we were out there like 2 weeks
Prior.
because we were diving to
okay.
close up all the holes in the
I
window.
see. Okay.
And then they gave us a 10-day notice, but the notice never told us they were going to take the boat. It just said they were going to fine us $250, and then they had to get it up. I was told by the code enforcement officer that they would put a lien against the property if they had to get it up and take that kind of action. So I understood that, but I was still working every day to get it up. And when I finally got it up, the next day they came to get it, and then they couldn't get it. They couldn't get it out themselves because it kept falling back over. They found out how hard it was to get it out, and then I asked them to give me just that 2 more days to get it out. He told me you got from Monday to Wednesday on camera, and he gave me to that moment. And I got it up, had it floating, getting ready to take it out, and then they came on Tuesday morning and took the boat.
Well, at this point, okay, let's
But that's not what I'm
let's
worried
put a
about.
cap
So
on this. At this point of time, Mr. Simonet, I understand that the city actually has done its due diligence before acting, and at this point of time, pretty much the shell has already been broken. We can't put the egg back in. And
I just want to know
I mean,
where it's
we can-
located so that I can go get it.
I think this is something that has to be handled through legal means only.
You can't.
I mean, not in this meeting. I mean, we cannot.
You
in
cannot
any
tell me
way-
where it's located
Yeah, but
so that I can go
that,
get it.
that will be handled maybe tomorrow or sometime this week, next week,
Mr.
through the
Simmons-
office of the manager and,
Simmons, if you
and
wanna-
the city attorney.
once again, have a discussion with me tomorrow in my office. You're more than welcome to come by.
Okay.
So
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Mhm.
I remember 2 weeks ago when you required that we give you permission to tow the boat. You said you're gonna add the money to the house.
yes, we are filing the lien on the house. Yes.
Okay, if you file a lien on the house, that's when the boat belong to them if he pay the tow.
No, it does not.
That's to explain me.
We were not paid. We were not paid the tow. The requirement was to get the boat back after we towed it. He had to immediately pay the amount of the tow, and then
The
he could
same
back-
day. That's why I
Yeah,
found
no,
that out.
Mr.
Listen.
Seminette, hold on.
he
I'm
had to-
sorry.
He did not pay. So now our only means.
What he
of
did not pay?
The tow.
The tow company.
He didn't pay the tow company. We
So
paid
you
the tow.
paid, but if you
How
put a
much it
lien-
is?
It's 70 whatever.
74,000.
74,000?
705.
Yeah, but that money you said you were gonna put a lien on
On
the
his house,
property.
To put a lien on the property.
So once you
But
do
the
that, is
the boat belong to him. If you're gonna put a lien on the property,
No,
you're not putting it on the boat. You put it on his house.
right because the
I'm
property.
lost.
He owes the city the
He owes
$70,000 we
$74,000.
paid to tow his sunken
Right.
boat.
But-
So
So the boat's worthless. So the only means for us to recover is to put a lien on his home. So if the home
Until you strip the boat and get your money, and then you can remove the lien.
it depends on what the value of whatever's left of the boat. Whatever's left, could constitute a lien on the property. And if the property's ever sold and there's excess, then the city would get its money.
But
back.
a question.
Yeah.
A question. You spent $74,000 to tow the boat. What about the storage now? Who's paying the storage?
No, the
74,000 for everything?
No, the state statute. Once the boat, it's in the hands of the tow company. It's in the hands of the tow company.
Oh, it's not. It has
We
nothing
don't- we
to
don't
do with
It's
that.
like
That's why
towing a
we don't
car.
know where it is.
That's when you
Oh,
give it to
okay.
them?
Yeah,
That's okay.
How can you give it to them?
that's what the state statute provides.
Whatever the
Whatever it
value
is.
of the
As a matter
boat?
fact, as a matter of fact, we could have, and I think we did apply. The state will give us a grant to do this. I mean, this is all authorized by
Okay,
state
I'm
statute.
lost.
Yeah,
This
but
is
I
even the
understand,
city
but-
code.
But it is within 30 days.
I'm not sure what you're asking, sir.
When you put a lien on the property, right?
Right.
The boat belong to him.
No, I'm not sure where you get that from. No.
That's when you tow the boat.
Okay, this is you have to imagine this is the city acting as a police officer, right? The city says there is a derelict boat in public waters. The state statute says you must remove that boat in public waters. So we went as a police,
Kind of feeling.
the police powers of the state. We exercised it. We took the boat. The state statute allows, once that's removed, it goes to the tow company. They have insurance. They do what they need to do with the boat. They may
That's
have-
when he cannot recover.
No,
If
the
he have
boat-
$74,000 right now,
He would have
he
had to
paid
give it-
that.
once it was
You're
gone.
gonna give him his boat back?
No, he would have to have given us that $75,000
Oh,
the
Lord.
day we removed the boat.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vice Mayor. But if you tow a car in front of somebody's house, wait, hold on 1 second. Maybe it's not identical. If you tow a vehicle from in front of somebody's front yard, right? And the tow company take it to the yard, whatever. But that vehicle still belongs to the owner, and they still have the rights to
And
go
I
to the
pay
towing
storage
company
and towing
Yeah.
fee.
and pay the storage fees and everything, and so they can recover their property. So why is that different than a boat?
It's different because your state statute says it's different. sir.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
And if you want me to read it, I can read the state statute,
No,
but
no,
it's
no,
what
no,
the
no.
state says.
So
It's not.
no, I would like for you to read it, but I want to hear what Vice Mayor has to say first.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, Mr. Attorney, forget the legal thing. Mr. Manager, let me go to you. How can you call the company and get this man, once we put the lien, get his vote back?
Are you directing me to give him his vote
I'm
back?
it's not a vote. It would be, but I'm asking you a simple question.
It may be helpful before he answers for me to just read.
Yeah,
the
okay, go ahead.
Just read the statute so you understand how this works. Okay, it's unlawful for a person, firm, or corporation to store, leave, or abandon any derelict vessel in this state. The commission, officers of the commission, and any law enforcement agency or officer specified in section 327.70 are authorized and empowered to relocate, remove, or cause to be relocated or removed a derelict vessel from public waters if the derelict vessel obstructs or threatens to obstruct navigation or in any way constitutes a danger to the environment, property, or persons. The commission, officers of the commission, or any other law enforcement agency or officer acting under this subsection to relocate, remove, or cause to be relocated or removed a derelict vessel from public waters shall be held harmless for all damages to the derelict vessel resulting from such relocation or removal unless the damage results from gross negligence or willful misconduct. Removal of the derelict vessel under this subsection may be funded by grants provided under section, and it gives you sections. The commission shall implement a plan for the procurement of any available federal disaster funds and use such funds for removal of derelict vessels. All costs, including costs owed to a third party, incurred by the commission or other law enforcement agency in the relocation or removal of a derelict vessel, are recoverable against the vessel owner. The Department of Legal Affairs shall represent the commission in actions to recover such costs as provided. It gives another section. A person who neglects or refuses to pay such costs may not be issued a certificate of registration for such vessel or any other vessel or motor vehicle until such costs have been paid.
Okay.
A contractor, let me finish so you understand. A contractor performing relocation or removal activities at the direction of the commission, officers of the commission, or a law enforcement agency or officers pursuant to this section must be licensed in accordance with applicable United States Coast Guard regulations where required, obtain and carry in full force and effect a policy from a licensed insurance carrier in the state to insure against any accident, loss, injury, property damage, or other casualty caused by or resulting from the contractor's action, and be properly equipped to perform the services to be provided. When a derelict vessel, and this is the section that everyone keeps talking about with the 60 days notice, when a derelict vessel is docked, grounded, or beached upon private property without the consent of the owner of the property, the owner of the property may remove the vessel at the vessel owner's expense 60 days after the compliance with the notice requirements specified. It gives a section. The private property owner may not hinder reasonable efforts by the vessel owner or the vessel owner's agent to remove the vessel. Notice given pursuant to this subsection is presumed to be delivered when it's deposited with the United States Postal Service, certified and properly addressed with prepaid postage. And then it goes on to another section which talks about this being a misdemeanor of the first degree and shall be punishable by provided by law if someone interferes with the removal of the boat. So what we're saying is this isn't under city code. We may not like the scheme that the state.
But what I'm asking again, Mr. I mean, I didn't hear the part where it says that once the vessel has been towed, it automatically belongs to the towing company.
Okay,
It did not stipulate that. I mean, is that
It's, yes, it is.
it is in there?
It's in here.
Okay.
It's
No, I
in
know
the
we're
case
gonna
law.
make a decision.
I'm
Huh?
trying.
Believe me, before we
No,
did
that it belongs to the towing company. Now, if he comes up with the $75,000, which is well, we've already paid it. You said.
We paid it.
Got the check this week.
Okay, now if he comes back tomorrow with a check or next week, whatever time we give him to pay that money, he still loses the boat.
The boat is
Okay,
gone.
Mr. Mayor.
So when it's told, it is understood that
That's
I-
why we
I-
gave notice.
I'm lost. I mean, I still don't get it. I don't get it.
And
If he had left his car abandoned in the middle of I-95, they wouldn't have just let it sit there. They would have come and taken it away. So in this case, I understand the boat was underwater for a series of weeks. I'm gonna guess, I'm not a boater, but
It was still above water, but it was just leaned over. It was tilted. It was still in.
the
it was
boat-
n- I got
I'm
pictures.
not
It was.
I'm not a boater. I've seen the photos.
And
I
it
don't
was
know
not
how
in the, public-
the Titanic was also for a little while a little above water. In this case, your boat was significantly submerged for a series of weeks. Am I correct, Mr. Manager, Mr.
No,
Attorney?
sir. It was only
Mr. Manager,
submerged
Mr. Attorney, Mr.
You-
Simonet, you're not my manager or my attorney. If I've got mistaken information, I need to know it. Was this
The
boat underwater?
The boat sank. I just got notification from code. It sank prior to April 6th, and we removed it on May 11th.
So for over a month, it sat mostly submerged in the middle of a public waterway. You understand why we had to remove it?
No, sir. Because
Why
first of
didn't-
all,
okay, if you don't
can I
understand
finish it?
No.
You asked me a question, I wanna answer the question.
Mr. Simonet.
And I'm ready to go with this if we have to go with this. But Mr. Simonet, you were negligent by leaving your boat submerged in a public waterway for over a month. If you were so concerned about that boat, why didn't you come get it before we had to take it away at taxpayer expense? Taxpayers had to take away your broken down, submerged boat that sat there for over a month. We're gonna get our money back because we're not your private service.
Okay, now you ready? You ready for an answer now, sir?
No.
Mr. Simonet, if you
We are
want
not
an answer,
ready.
Mr. Simonet, I'll see at the ballot box.
No, let's not do the back and forth. We're not gonna do it tonight.
Then let's not drag this out for the
Okay.
next. Let's not drag this out for
Okay.
the next.
All I
several
want to
hours.
know is where to get the boat
Miss-
from.
Miss Consul,
I just have a quick
Consulwoman, yeah.
question. I just have a quick legal question. To the, through the mayor, to the attorney.
Yes.
This is gonna become a lien on the property. Is this a super priority lien in that if, the property is sold or foreclosed, that the bank could wipe out our lien, or does that remain?
That I don't know, but I don't believe it's not like a utility lien that's
So
secured.
if for any reason the property is foreclosed, we will never get paid. There's no guarantee that our city is gonna get that money back.
Right.
Correct.
And in terms of, I just found it, in terms of destroying the boat, it's in our city code also. I can read that too. But again, before we did
What's
this,
in the code?
Read it.
Okay, I'm trying to not drag this on. Okay. A request for a hearing, maybe, I'm trying to find the right, a request for a hearing before the special magistrate by the owner of any persons interested in the attached must be made in writing to, and it gives the notice, before the expiration of the 10-day period. Otherwise, such property shall be presumed to be derelict, junked, or abandoned property and will be removed and destroyed by order of the city.
How long does it have to remain?
This
derelict?
is after a 10-day notice.
10 days.
Which
How
we
long was
gave.
this boat in the waterway?
We gave him well, it was whatever amount of time before we gave notice,
Over a
and
month.
we gave him an extra 3 days, and so.
Mr.
So
Mayor,
under our city
It
code.
was 3 weeks and they couldn't get it up for 6 days.
Under our city code, if it was derelict for more than 10 days, it could be junked under that code.
Yeah.
And it was underwater and derelict for over 30 days. Okay.
Okay,
I'm satisfied.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Attorney, I know you read the statute, and me being a teacher, that didn't mean much to me because what I understand that, but what I just saw, and maybe you could explain it to me, it's a little bit injustice. Now, I understand that we paid to get it removed, that we must get our money back. My question and it's not so much a legal issue, it's to the manager. If we put a lien on the house, whatever the case is, and we do get our money back, let's just say, are you telling me that he's not entitled to get the, whatever the boat might be worth. But to us, it may be worth nothing. So you saying that we cannot help him get his boat back?
All I could tell you is, or maybe there's some offset to the amount owed, but at this, yeah, there's an offset to the amount owed, but at this time, the boat, because we had to tow it and it was really of disrepair, you know, it's at the, you know,
That's
at
what
the
you
tow
think, but
yard.
That's not what he think.
Right.
As the owner of the boat.
Yes.
But if you end up paying tomorrow the $74,000,
I
how
think
is he gonna get
Then
his boat
if he
back?
pays us $74,000 tomorrow, we'll give him the, you know, I'll find out the location of the boat yard and
Yeah, see?
we'll see what we can do. Because we've already,
Yeah.
at that point, you're saying we've already recovered our money.
Yeah, but because 2 weeks ago when you bring that before us, it was paying the 74,000, put a lien on the property, but you didn't even tell us if they towed the boat, it belonged to the storage to a company. That's mean
Well,
we have to leave it open. We have to find his boat if he pays $74,000.
Okay.
that being said, since you guys have been thinking along that line, what kind of agreement have you signed with the towing company? Are they under the understanding that the boat now belongs to them?
The boat is whatever materials are scrap materials.
No, are they under the understanding that the boat now belongs to them?
Yes, it's
But
scrap
they got
material.
paid $75,000.
Yes, I understand, and that was that their bid.
To me, when I call a junkyard to pick up a car, I don't pay for the transport. You come to pick it up, I want to give you that junk car, come and get it, but there is no towing fee paid. If that boat belongs to the junkyard or to wherever it is now, then they should not have been compensated for the towing.
But it took more than towing. They had to right the boat to be able to pull the boat
Pump
out of
it
the
out.
waterway.
Okay,
That
so the boat
was
cannot belong to them. There was nothing
belong to the
in that
city.
statute
If you-
that says
I don't
If you
that
will,
the
well, no,
boat
if
be,
you-
no, wait, hold on 1 second. I'm talking to the manager.
If you will,
Yeah.
in the bid, there is an offset in the amount that we paid for salvage value. It's in the pricing. So we did get a pricing reduction, which you're saying the offset
Yeah.
that you're looking for.
Oh, okay, so normally it would be more than 74.
It would have been more than the 74.
Oh, that's the
gave his
information we
vote,
didn't have
So
then.
the city agreed to give whatever the difference was as a result of that. See, that part wasn't clear to us.
Because
and
the
if we
vote
talk about
is-
transparency, we need to let them know exactly how it went down because
We-
I got a call from him and I didn't know nothing
I know
that
you
went on.
weren't here, and
No,
again,
but, Councilman Galvin, the reason that I'm a little bit frustrated because I'm getting all the details right now. I did not know, and when I asked of this, they told me that I was okay. That okay, fine. We get his boat until he paid us. He doesn't get his boat back. I'm okay with that. But now it's like even if he does give us the money back, we had already agreed that they could keep his boat, and that's just unfair to anybody. It could be him today. It will be somebody else tomorrow. I'm just saying. Yeah.
But again, if you leave your vehicle, whether it's a motorized vehicle or it's a water vehicle, if you leave your broken down vehicle in the public right of way, we have a duty as a city to remove it. So that's why.
Which is fine.
To
But
remove
what
it,
he's
but-
saying,
Pay the
he's
storage
saying
fee
even if
and
you
get
pay
it
the
back
storage
with
fee,
your
you
title.
don't get it back. We get to keep it, and that's my only concern.
My frustration is that if Mr. Simonet had shown this much interest in his boat for the 30-plus days it sat in the public waterway, I'd be a lot more sympathetic. When you don't care about it while it's there, and then you care about it when
But-
it's gone.
But
it seems to be-
$75,000.
Hold on 1 second, guys. One at a time.
If I agree with the manager, if he walks in with a $75,000 check tomorrow and there's a way to get him his shell of a boat back, please do. Recognize, though, it sat underwater for over a month. It's probably in not very good condition, but if you want to pay $75,000 for something that's not in very good condition, God bless. I don't
That's
have a
his-
problem with it, but we're going to sit here and debate this tonight. Now, I will say no more, Mr. Cazot, because they've already threatened us with a lawsuit, and I'm not going to sit here and. Again.
Hold on 1 second. This is not being done the right way. We cannot do the back and forth. I mean, okay, so at this point of time, I guess,
I'd make a motion to ratify the manager's, just to ratify the resolution. We didn't do, Is we still in public hearing?
Yeah, she wants to
I have a
say.
question.
Well, you gotta state your name.
Was it public hearing? Because we went to, oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, my name is Dwetta Hunter, and I'm the one that wrote the letter, and
You
CC'd
gotta
everybody
speak in
on
the
everything
mic.
that happened.
The mic, the mic.
My question is,
Go to the mic,
Ms.
please.
Hunter, speaking of me.
And we need your address.
my address is, 2035 Linton Lake Drive, Apartment B in Delray Beach, Florida. My question is, why would you say that he was not trying to resolve the problem when he was very diligently working on trying to get the boat up for 3 weeks? I don't understand your point on that. And first of all, the boat was never totally submerged in water because, and we have videos of that. I mean, hopefully you've seen the video. There's nothing showing that that boat was completely up underwater. And my next question is, what is your definition of a derelict boat? Because that boat was looking pretty good to me. So what is your definition of a derelict boat? And it was never abandoned because they were constantly working on it. I don't understand your point.
Okay.
Sir,
Thank you. What is the direction we need to go with now at this point, Mr. Attorney?
I think,
Hmm?
oh,
Is public hearing still opened or closed?
Public hearing is now closed. I see no one coming.
This is to ratify the manager's actions and ratify the expenditure.
I make a motion to ratify the expenditure, which is all that's really in front of us on this resolution.
I still have a question. Mr. Manager, how can we get, him his boat back?
Again, we can't get his boat back. However, like I just stated, if he pays the $75,000 tomorrow, I will make every effort to get him the salvage, to get him to the boatyard, which again, I don't know the exact address where it is. And if there's any salvage there, we will deal with it.
are you saying you destroyed the boat?
Ma'am, you're out of order now. Please sit down. We are.
Because my thing is, I don't know this man. It has nothing to do with Mr. Simonet or whoever else is here. It's just on the principle of the whole thing. Because I don't want whatever happens with him, somebody else in Keystone, wherever happened, and we do the same thing. We have to make sure if they're able to pay or we put a lien, we get our money back and they get their property back. That's just my principle.
Okay.
That's just the end of it.
well,
So you understand where
I
I'm
understand
coming
where
from.
you come from, sir. Yes.
So
So, just to piggyback on what Vice Mayor just said, I mean, simply saying that if he pays the fees, that we are going to do everything in our efforts to, that's not good enough. If he pays the $74,000, we have to guarantee him that he will get his boat back.
Under
We-
state
we
law,
have-
under state law, he
The
vacated
state law,
his.
the
pri-
sta- no,
th-
the,
we
the
can't
sta-
we can't
I was
ignore
talking,
the state law.
Mr. Constable, I was talking. There was nothing in the state law, that the one that was just read, that says that the minute that this vessel got towed, that he automatically lose ownership of the property. There was nothing, I mean, I didn't hear it.
Mayor, if you didn't hear, I read the city code, which does say that.
The
So
city-
it's not the state code, it's, that part is the city code.
and where does it say?
I'll read the other section of it. Is if a hearing is not requested and if at the end of the 10 days after posting such notice, the owner or any person interested in the article described in such notice has not removed the article from public property or shown reasonable cause for failure to do so, the code compliance inspector may cause the article to be removed and destroyed, and the salvage value, if any of the same, shall be retained by the city government to be applied against the cost of removal and destruction thereof.
Yeah,
The
to be
city
applied against the
government.
cost.
the city.
You said to be applied to the cost that we have toward the $74,000.
That's what you said.
You just asked me under what authority we destroyed the vessel.
No,
No,
what
we
I'm
tender
asking,
vote
this
on
is the
city
second
payment.
question now.
Okay, what's the other question?
There is a part that says if we destroy it and garnish some revenue from whatever let's say we destroy it and we sell the parts for $30,000.
Then it reduces the amount of the $75,000 that is owed.
In the
Some
bu-
hours, we don't even have it.
It will reduce the amount of lien.
Yeah, the amount of the
Of
lien.
Yes.
But in the event that he comes with the entire amount, then we don't get to destroy it. That's still his.
That was
If we don't get to destroy, he comes with the $74,000 tomorrow. The vehicle, I mean, the vessel is still there, not totally destroyed.
Then we can make arrangements for him to get that property back.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
I'd love to know how this all turns out. Will you schedule this for a follow-up discussion at our next council meeting? I'm willing to bet the $75,000 isn't provided in the boat is what it is now.
Well, yeah, well, nobody knows that really to make, you know.
Educate
No,
us.
no, but I'm just saying, Larry,
I
this is
withdraw my
not
motion
going-
to ask for a follow-up at the next
you know,
meeting, Mr. Manager.
This is just a little bit
Still have a
going
motion
over.
on the
We have a
table.
motion by Councilwoman Keys on the floor.
I have a motion to ratify
need
the
a second.
expense. We spent the money, the previous council agreed 2 weeks ago to spend the money. I mean, the only thing that's really before us is to ratify the expense.
Okay. Just
Well-
need a second.
There is no second.
I'll second the motion.
Can we get an invoice of what was paid to the tow company as well, when he pays it?
Well, at this point, no, the motion has been second. Now it's open for discussion. The only statement I would make at this time, Mr. Simonet, you still have the opportunity to ask us. You have the right to ask us to table this item. You can ask us. Giving you time, maybe you can come up with the $74,000 before, within 2 weeks.
That's way different than the motion that's on the table. I think the motion on the table would have to be
It's up for
withdrawn.
discussion now. We haven't voted.
Motion to continue doesn't come from Mr. Simonet. Councilman Simonet has not yet been
He can
elected.
make a request.
So.
What are you
in
doing,
the
Mr.
meantime,
No.
in the meantime, I'm sorry, I've been up here for a little bit of time. I'm just trying to follow the
Not
actual
really.
rules that precede these types of meetings. If there is a motion to continue.
Okay,
the
at this
item-
point of time, I'm going to ask if there is any discussion on the item, on the motion that was made.
No, the only thing, if we pay the 75,000, we have to find his boat.
Okay.
That's the only.
Find his
Anything else?
That has nothing.
No, hold on 1 second, Mrs. Vice Mayor, Mrs. Councilman. Are you finished, Mr. Councilman? Mr. Vice Mayor, do you have any comment on the item?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
We're just ratifying what the manager already spent. I mean, if we don't ratify it, our city has spent the money. What are we gonna do if we don't ratify this? Mr. Attorney, we spent the money. We can't unspend the money. I'm just trying to ratify what you all did. Well, you all agreed to.
Don't say while we were in China, because then
While
they'll
we
say
were
you should have not been in China.
Okay.
But 2 weeks ago, we
We had an emergency.
So what happens if we don't ratify this? If this fails
No.
tonight, what happens? We've spent the money.
We spent the money and it wasn't authorized in the
it
budget.
got
It's an
nothing to do
unauthorized
with
expenditure.
we cover his boat or not. What we have before us, we still got to ratify that.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you may have a
for
seat, please. We will ask you to come to the
For
microphone if we
accounting purposes,
need to
what
ask
we
you
doing
something.
now.
Yes.
Say again, I'm sorry.
I was asking the lady to have a seat.
Okay. Are we voting?
Mr. Mayor,
Second,
No,
No, it was already second.
I would call the question on the matter at hand, which is the motion that has been made and seconded.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Keys and seconded by Councilman Galvin to ratify the expense. All in favor? All opposed? Item passes 5-0. Through the mayor, can I go back to tab C
No.
to get Councilman Bienem's vote?
onward.
Can I ask a question of Ms. Manager or Mr. Attorney? So what is left now of the issue, now that the fees have been ratified, what rights does the owner or previous owner have?
Well, from my vantage, Mr. Mayor, based on your directive, I open myself to, again, meet with Mr. Simonet. We'll find out the location of the vessel, excuse me, the vessel, the storage yard where it is. And if indeed he pays the 75,000, we'll make arrangements for him to get the remaining property.
Okay.
Tab E?
Through the mayor, can I go back to tab C?
Yes. I say
You
yes.
say yes, okay, so item C passes
Yes.
5-0. Okay. Tab E, proposed resolutions of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the attached waiver of plat for the unplatted property of approximately 3.9 acres in size, generally located 12200 Northeast 14th Avenue, and specifically identified with Miami-Dade County Folio Number 06-222-9-000-0171, in accordance with Article 3, Division 8, Section 3-802 on the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Land Development Regulations, Chapter 28, Section 28-4.1 of the Miami-Dade County Code of Ordinances, and Chapter 177, Florida Statutes 2015, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab E.
Thank you. For the record again, Tanya Wilson Suzord, Community Planning and Development. I'd request before you for the adoption of a resolution for a waiver of plat request. The parcel is consisting of 3.9 acres in size. It currently has a land use designation of industrial with a zoning of M1. The request would allow for the creation of two parcels. Parcel A is proposed at 1.8 acres in size. Parcel B, 2.1 acres in size. The parent parcel currently has a warehouse structure on the property. The new parcel that will be created, it's contemplated that will have a storage facility. The item has been reviewed by the Planning Commission, who's recommending approval of the item. Unanimous approval is what the Planning Commission had recommended, and staff is also recommending approval of the item at this time.
Okay, public hearing is now open on tab E.
Robert Houston again. Robert Houston again, 1150 Northeast 123rd Street. If I understood what the resolution's about, it's about taking a 3.9 acre property and dividing it into two plats for whatever purpose that's going to be used for, which is, or is it joining two? It's separating two specific, it's separating a piece of property into two plats, is that correct? Two parcels?
It's actually two parcels, not two plats. One plat with a subdivision for two parcels.
Oh, okay, just wanted a little
So
clarification.
only one folio number. Would that,
Well, eventually when the county approves it, it will be two separate folios.
No, two separate.
Parcels, one plat but two parcels being proposed.
So it will be given two separate folios? Okay, so it's basically dividing and selling. Okay, thank you. That's all.
right? Public hearing is now closed.
I'll make a motion to approve the division.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Galvin to approve tab E, seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
This
Item
annexation
passes
update,
4-0.
who's gonna do that? Is it you?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I believe the attorney has to step off, and our outside counsel, Hope Calhoun, will sit in on this item. Mr. Mayor, and council,
Wait, you have to wait for him to step out.
Hearing.
Go ahead.
thank you, sir. I think the council is aware that the city submitted several annexation applications to the county several months ago. One of the annexation areas, which was the Biscayne Corridor East area that was submitted, was also requested by our adjacent city, Biscayne Park. And thus we have a conflict of a portion of the requested area in the application that we submitted. I've gone to several of the public hearings regarding the matter. I've spoken with city staff and with county staff and with the chairman's office. they have requested that we work out the conflicted areas with those adjacent cities that are requesting similar areas that we have requested. I wanted to bring this item, kind of a discussion item, back to the council, to kind of make a recommendation that I thought might be in the best interest of the city at this moment, which is to, and each of you have been given a copy of the Biscayne Corridor map, which should be in front of you on the desk. What I'd like to recommend is that we bifurcate our application, allow for the Village of Biscayne Park to move forward with the west side of Biscayne parcels that they were looking to annex, and that the city move forward with the east side portions that we requested in the original application. Just kind of wanted to get some feedback from you, from the council, and some direction, if you will, on how to move forward. And I should add on the record that the chairman of the county commission and I guess a couple of the commissioners have been clear with me that they are holding the movement of these applications forward until we address these conflict areas. And I think they're doing that with other municipalities as well. So just trying to get the item resolved.
So what you need from us, Mr. Manager?
I need your consensus of direction, if you will. Legally, I think we would probably have to bring the item back and do a formal amendment to what we submitted to the application, if Ms. Calhoun.
Good evening. Just through public hearings. Thanks. Through public hearing, as I understand, you adopted and approved the annexation petition through public hearing. It's recommended you do the same to amend just the public hearing process.
Are we opening this to public hearing, or?
This was intended to just be a discussion item with the council. Based on council's advice, we would have a formal public hearing at a future date, but I just needed to hear a yes or a no or something.
Can I ask one quick question? The portion on the south of South Bayshore Drive, it's my understanding that we would keep it, and that's Ms. Sejour. Am I correct on Miss Cunningham? Miss Buchanan? Miss Calhoun. Is that correct? The south portion, or is it you, Tanya?
Are you referring to the eastern portion?
The eastern portion, the southeastern portion.
Correct. Based on the manager's recommendation, you're saying the piece that's on the east side
on
of
the
Biscayne
east side
Boulevard,
of Biscayne Boulevard
the parcels
would
that are
remain
sold
with
to the
us.
Bank of American site would
And
remain
that's
in the city of North
that's
Miami.
the part that I'm very interested in. So we would keep that, and then we would just and just because we I don't know what's the right word, just let it go. They still have to do their own referendum and everything. This
for them they got to go by their own process.
Yes, the annexation process for the remaining parcel doesn't change for this
Okay.
for the village.
yeah, I'm okay with it.
The mayor, my district. Thank you. No?
Okay.
I'm speaking on behalf of people who have elected me to speak for them, and I don't know anybody in my district who will be affected that is in favor of this item at this time. The two issues is, one, the county did a study and a lot of recommendations were made to the county to change their ordinances, and unfortunately, I left the package in my office. But there were a lot of recommendations made, and at the end of the recommendation, there was a graph of all the different applications. I believe there's 14 applications pending. This particular one had all these different criteria that would allow a recommendation to have this property annexed to Biscayne Park. It failed on every, except for one that really didn't matter, it failed on every issue. Cherry picking, economic, allowing commercial owners to decide. recommended that the application of Biscayne Park be denied. I don't know why we should allow that. I just don't think it's right. I don't think we should be held up for our application. The other issue before this report came in was the parcel in question is not contiguous to Biscayne Park. For the city of Biscayne Park to service this property, especially with regard to any emergency or police issues, the police department of Biscayne Park, which I believe has maybe 13 full-time policemen, that's 24 hours a day, will be responsible for coming through North Miami. They can either, their closest access is 108th Street on Biscayne Boulevard, or they will come through our Palomar section, our neighborhoods, have to drive through there, come around, and then get to the property. If we do an annexation, we lose all help, all assistance from Dade County Police. So when there is an issue on the west side of Biscayne Boulevard, in front of our office, Home Depot, which is our property, do we look at it and say, not our job, or does it now become a burden to our city because the county is washing their hands from this? I think this is going to place a burden on our city. It's going to put us in danger because I don't believe that Biscayne Park can adequately service this in terms of emergency. Further, one of the criteria was, can the municipality annexing the property service it for utilities? Well, no. The city of North Miami already provides the water and sewer to this property. Does it square off the borders? Do we want to allow it to be squared off? No, it creates another donut hole. We own the property to the north and to the east of it, adjacent across the street. We are trying to shore up our borders. This is a natural closing in of our property lines, and this is just creating an irregular parcel, which is also not advised in the report. And further, the report states that since there is so much commercial in this district, that the commercial owner should also have a say. So, on the grounds that I don't think it's right, I'm not agreeing, and also based on the new report, I think the county should go back, change their ordinances in the report that they ordered, and then come back and review this, because right now, their professional said no.
Yeah, I mean, at this point of time, it's just discussion, as we said, and I mean, it's simply not right. I know they call it politics down in Miami-Dade County, but it's simply not right. It is not proper for this, parochialistic, added, culture to be, and that's parochialism. I mean, it's not, you have to call it just the way it is. I mean, we had this application there before for a year, and it was neglected. I mean, thank God I took a drive. Someone took me in his car, and I drove through the perimeters that they went. I mean, it's clear cherry picking. I mean, they have private homes. They show me the line where it's going to go right between a commercial property and a residential property. They're going to make a street right through it so that they do not acquire that part. I mean, mind you, the people who are voting in this, the planning commission, they don't live up here. Most of them live down south. I wish that each of them would actually take a trip, come to North Miami, and drive through these perimeters of what these people are cherry picking through. They would have been pissed off just as much as I am. I mean, we are not at the point to take a vote yet or anything like that, but I don't know how I'm going to go with this. But, I mean, it's mind-bothering. But, and to hold us in a position where if we don't let it go, then all the other applications will be held, I mean, that's Big Brother simply telling you, they tying your hands, they say, if you don't work straight, then I'm going to do whatever. I mean, it's not right.
Through the mayor, can I be recognized for one factual point?
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I am very aware of that study. I sat through the 2-hour hearing where they presented it. At the end of the hearing, the full county commission adopted the report, but they were very clear. They will not be implementing any of its recommendations relative to this set of applications. And that this is all the ones countywide. So while I agree with your analysis of how this looks, I too have ridden through this area, and yes, you cannot access it. But you know, they still have to go through a process. If we agree to cooperate and
But
modify.
what is being asked of us now?
Right now, I'm just trying to hear your consensus. You're not taking a vote, but kind of hear your direction.
Can I, Mr. Mayor? I guess this is one of the issue where I don't know if you will have a consensus, because I do look at it a little bit different. Mr. Mayor, you mentioned something about cherry picking. That's what municipal do. I mean, we do it also. I mean, let's be honest. We have some applications in other places that we are looking to incorporate. So, and we are cherry picking. That by saying that, I don't agree the assessment where our neighbors to the south, where we are making some vague assessment of them. They may be a little bit too small, whatever the case is. We are a city of over 60 or plus thousand people. Looking at the application, the property to the south, the dealership that's supposed to be that was very clear.
On the east side.
On the
Yes,
east side,
yes,
very
yes.
clear. If you talk about profitable, on the other side, regardless of them coming back to us for services, I just don't think we are in a position, because we are much bigger and we have the services, to just, make some statements politically. I mean, this is a political body. The county is a political body. At the end of the day, yes, the process was unfair. Our application was there first. Some things happened, but clearly we lost, right?
Yes, they took a vote already at committee.
Then, so what would be the point to say, well, our neighbors can't have it because are we gonna, either we're gonna start a civil war with the county? That's one, and I'm not on board with that. I just want to make it publicly clear. But the other thing is, we have plans and we have some applications. So what is the I don't want to say the big deal, but we have other areas we are looking at. That's just my position on it, Mr.
When you say you're looking for a vote tonight?
No, I wanted to hear from all five, just general feedback. I'm not asking for you to say yes or no.
I just have a question. Mr. Mayor, through,
Do you want to yield to?
Yeah, how many applications do we have?
Right now we have four total.
We have 4 applications.
We have 4 total, but we are looking to put a few
No,
more.
as of right now.
Yeah, as of right now, we
You
have
have a map? I've been asking for a map of all the locations, the application. That's when we have 4, you have 4 total applications, right?
We have 4 that are currently in the approval process
And
right now.
including this
Before
one.
the planning
Including this
commission.
one.
Before the planning, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They, at committee, at first level committee, they turned down this application for us, and they approved it in favor of Biscayne Park.
who did that? That was the planning commission.
The zoning board.
The counties.
No,
The
no,
count.
no. Please.
The county zoning board, there were a number of hearings had, you may recall, because I know that you were present. We were deferred for a number of meetings, and then they finally had the meeting, and they had both our application and Biscayne Parks.
Who's they?
The county's zoning board.
Okay.
And at the same meeting, they had our application, this application for annexation and Biscayne Parks. They denied the city of North Miami's application and approved Biscayne Parks' application for annexing this same area.
When was that, please?
That would have been the middle of last year, 2015.
No, okay, so the meeting I attended, through the mayor,
Where?
Mr. DeSumi, Vice Mayor, through the Vice Mayor, we attended a planning commission that was not county commissioners, it was an advisory board to the county.
Correct, the
Okay,
zoning board.
and they turned down our application, they approved Biscayne Parks, and with a proviso that as long as nobody else objected, that they would agree with Biscayne Park. Has anything, the manager said a committee took a vote. What committee?
Come on, guys.
I'm trying to get clear as to where we are, because I didn't know we had any other meetings.
So I believe the reference he made was the same zoning board meeting that you're speaking of.
So that's not a committee, it was an advisory planning commission, just like we have a planning commission.
Correct.
And again, they did turn down our application, but said only if we did not object would they go with Biscayne Park. So I want to be clear that nobody else has turned us down.
Mr. Vice Mayor, through you to the city manager, can we continue this item and ask that the county actually be here at the next meeting? No, I mean, I get the hint that they're giving us. I get the hint that they're giving us. It's really nice, though, that they want to hide behind the curtain and give us a hint. So what they're telling us, Carol, is really clear. North Miami, you lose everything. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing unless you give up this little commercial strip on Biscayne to Biscayne Park. If you give up that commercial strip to Biscayne Park, you get everything, you get everything, you get everything you've asked for elsewise. If that's what I'm getting is the clear hint. I'd love it if they stood here and told us that so that we didn't have to get lost in all of this conjecture.
Through the mayor?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I certainly appreciate everybody's position. As your manager, I am just trying to administratively deal with this matter. There's been a lot of back and forth that, requests for me to send forward letter notification saying I'm okay with X and Y and Z. I do not have your permission legally to do any of those things. That's why I brought this item, at least a discussion item, to kind of get a consensus of where you are. I will submit to you this, and yes, there probably is some pushing and some parochialism and things going on. However, keep in mind the city, as your CEO, we have a lot of serious other business matters that we're attending to with the county every day right now. And I'm not saying this is not important, but in the larger grand scheme of things, these annexations have other steps that have to be taken beyond, just these next steps of approval. Even after they're approved, there's a vote of these constituents that still has to take place. Very, very well, those constituents may say, we don't want to be a part of Biscayne Park.
And they could also say they don't want to be part of North Miami.
And they could very well say
So
they don't
let's
want to
be
be.
clear
No,
on that
it
one.
could be both
Okay.
ways. Yeah, I'm not saying one or the other, but what I'm saying is, as your CEO, I need to hear from you. If you want me to bring back a formal item, I can send an invitation to ask county staff to come. I don't know what they'll say. They will probably just reiterate the record that's already out there, which is it was denied at this level.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I had one other question. Mr. Manager, I had asked you for a list of electors in the annexation property.
Yes.
So we want to see how many electors are there, what are we talking about? And I'm just going to say that I really not a good politician. I don't like horse trading. I don't like things being forced down our throat for other reasons. When you talk about other city issues, there's other matters in front of us. I don't see why annexation has to do with other matters in front of the county that we have. It's not right. We shouldn't be held up on one matter, and I don't want to go into what other matters they are, but I don't want to be like, you're not going to get this unless you give up this. It's just not right.
But Carol, now I have to be, now allow me to be the county's devil advocate. You
Okay.
say you're not a good politician. This is the way politics works. Sometimes you get everything you want, sometimes you get nothing, sometimes you have to reach a middle ground. The county is clearly not, the county calls the shots in the annexation situation. In the end,
They're throwing other business matters having nothing to do with annexation at us.
right, but that's politics. I mean,
Okay?
but that's politics. So
Okay.
the county calls the shots in the end, who gets to annex what. They're not going to let us annex this commercial property here on Biscayne Boulevard. I recognize how badly you want it. They're not giving it to us.
agree.
So start to recognize that fact. This will not be ours. If there is a hope of having other areas incorporated into the city, this is the deal they want us to make. If we refuse the deal, we won't get any of those, and we won't get this.
Okay.
They're not giving us this.
All right. So to end this, I guess You're gonna come up, the direction that will be given to you is to come back with this item in a formal way that we
Yeah,
can.
formal way, and we're
For
gonna
public
vote on it.
hearing.
About the administration support it, or?
No, I will bring back the
No,
formal
right now
item.
it's a discussion. It's
Yeah.
not when a
This is a
formal
discussion. I want
Yeah.
to hear.
So what would be the
For public
formal thing
hearing.
you will be coming
a
back?
A
for?
resolution,
modification.
for the
resolution,
public to be heard.
But maybe I'm wrong, and what are we doing a resolution on if the county already denied us?
No, they haven't denied us.
Then they did,
denied.
no, I'm not the commission, but the committee, correct?
No, the amendment.
So, the
There's no
hearing
committee.
that happened below was the zoning
The
board. and
zoning
you're
board,
correct,
mm.
they're a recommending body, so they
Exactly.
recommended denial of the application. And what we've heard clearly, from the body that makes the ultimate decision, the county, is, that they would like us, the city of North Miami, to modify the application
Okay.
in order to go
I see.
forward.
Okay.
Okay, so modify.
Okay.
Okay, perfect, I got
All
it.
right.